Welcome to the Panic Button. I'm Nina. Today we're going to be reacting to another Lilytino video, surprise, surprise, that's going viral. The man is addicted to the spotlight, and people are reacting to it. So we will react to it as well. Before we get into this video, please like and subscribe, comment below, share it with your friends, join our memberships, and let's continue on and see what Buffalo Lil, aka No Cake Pops McGee, is going on about today.
A girl, or I'm a girl. Now this is actually my second gender reveal, because the first time my parents told the world that I was a boy, which is incorrect, but I do not hold it against them, because how could they have known I was gonna be?
Yeah, gee. Okay, little too close to the camera. Very masculine voice and very domineering way of speaking to the camera. Shoving the cake in our face.
Trans. But it's a good reminder that the parts you see on an ultrasound don't determine a baby's gender.
Yes, because what determines a baby's gender, according to Buffalo Lil over here, is them deciding. And where did Buffalo Lil get that from? Gender ideology. And where was gender ideology created from? Pedophiles. So, leave the kids alone. But they won't. And why? Because they want to get their grubby little hands on children so they can manipulate them. And it's very disturbing.
Gender. And how is that possible? Well, think about it like this marker. A blue cap usually means a blue marker, but sometimes marker caps get switched, and in this case, it is a pink marker.
Markers don't decide whether they're one color or another like humans do. A human nowadays can say they're a female when they're a male or a male when they're a female. A marker is not a good analogy, but thanks for trying.
Marker. See, that's what happened to me. They saw something on the ultrasound that usually means it's a boy, but the cap was cap, and I turned out to be a girl.
Yeah, but it took you till you were, 30, 40 years old in order to figure out that you're... So what were you doing the whole time? Using your white male privilege. But since now masculinity is no longer a good thing in society, what does Buffalo Lil here do? He dresses up like a woman. And now he's getting a lot of attention. And now I'm taking advantage of the attention he's getting in order to react to it and get more views. So, when it comes down to it, I'll keep reacting to his stuff until the cows come home. Because if he's gonna be pushing this shit, I'm gonna be pushing my shit. And my shit is reality. His shit is ideology, aka culty shit.
A girl. So should we stop doing gender reveals? Of course not. Gender reveals are a great way to celebrate the birth of a child. What I'm suggesting is instead of doing it before the kid is born, do it after they're born.
When they're 12 months? When they're saying mama, baba? Do they know then, Mr. Tino? Do they know then that they're a woman, a girl, when they have a pee-pee? When they have the other thing, of course, this is the same guy who says, 3-year-olds know who they are and know their gender. Okay, so by that logic, I should have been a wolf because when I was a kid, I wanted to be an animal. I thought it was cool. If I lived in his world, there are a few things that I can't say, so I'm going to say this on the membership part of the program. Majority of people would be walking around in their kink clothes, rubber suits, whips, chains, and handcuffs, and talking to kids about butt plugs, and so on, because children should know about this, because there are people in this world who do this stuff, and it should be accepted. We don't want to live in a world where Buffalo Lil is living. We don't want it. His logic only benefits him. Anything that he talks about is only to benefit himself. It's not because he cares about kids. No. He wants kids to care about him. You know what I mean.
This way, the kid can proudly tell the world that they're a boy or a girl.
Why does the child need to proudly tell the world? Why? Proudly tell the world I decided that I'm a different gender. Why should you be proud of that? Did you earn that? No, you didn't. You decided. You don't get to proudly proclaim something that you didn't earn. That makes no sense. Am I proud to be a lesbian? No, I just am. Why are you proud to be trans? Being proud to be trans is like being proud of being schizophrenic. It's a mental disorder. But what these people did is they took it from being a mental disorder to being a way of being, a costume, something that you decide, you put on, and you walk around in, and everyone has to bow down to you. These are two different things. His is all about identity. The world I live in, it's all about reality. And identity should never overpower reality, because then you get weird fucking bills and you get weird fucking laws where what someone says they are dominates over the reality of what someone is.
You're a girl or non-binary, yay! And since the kid is involved, they get to take ownership over the whole process.
Yes, they do. That's the problem. If a child is taking over the whole process of who they're going to be, that means they're getting surgeries and they're getting medications and puberty blockers and hormones that are going to totally mess them up. And then they're going to be adults who are going to be severely messed up with a lot of health complications because of the medications they didn't need and the surgeries they didn't need in the first place. But because they were buying into Buffalo Lil's ideology and his truth, they're going to be messed up. Now, why do you think a grown man who just decided recently to become a woman and play dress up would want children to be doing the same? What's the angle? Comment below. Curious to hear your thoughts.
Process. They can cut a cake or smash a piñata or do whatever creative spin they want on it. It's like a rite of passage that every kid looks forward to. And instead of parents...
What? It's a rite of... Choosing your gender is a rite of passage every child looks forward to? I don't remember that in my childhood. This is a recent thing. And it's only over-sexualized kids, made them more confused, made them activists for creepy adults, messed them up externally and internally with surgeries and medications. Why would you want to look forward to that? You want to look forward to being messed up in the head? You want to look forward to having gender dysphoria? You want to look forward to struggling your entire life, physically, emotionally, and mentally? If a little girl decides she wants to be a boy because she likes boy things and she's attracted to girls, do you think she's going to grow up and have healthy relationships with all the physical issues she's going to have with these medications? Go on the internet and look up the medications they give and the side effects. Now, Google has had a tendency of suppressing information and facts about transition for kids, puberty blockers and hormones and the surgeries. They suppress it, say it's not happening, while at the same time saying it's happening and it's okay. So these people talking out both sides of their mouth, and children are supposed to buy into it. Why is the guy who never went through it pushing for children to go through it? He never went through it. He has no experience with it. So why would you be listening to him and not listening to someone who actually went through it, who is not an activist? You need to get unbiased opinions from people who actually went through it, not activists who are very creepy, doing a lot of weird shit, having an OnlyFans, talking to children. I mean, we need to look at these people like these guys, Buffalo Lil here, with a lot of skepticism. We don't want to put our children next to this fella and say, listen to him, he's got all the answers, when his answers are just a repetition of an ideology that came from. Look up where this ideology started. Look up the guys. Look up John Money. Look up Kinsey. Look up their background, their history, the conflicts they've had, and you will see that these guys they're not good people. They don't have children's best interest at heart. They have their own interest at heart, and they want to use children in order to move their cause forward. We have to look at these guys with a lot of skepticism, or else the detriment will come to women and children. And nobody wants that. And them trying to convince you that that's not happening is proof that it is.
And instead of parents speaking on behalf of their kid, the kid gets to speak for themselves.
There are many reasons why we don't want children to speak for themselves when they can't consent. Because if a child falls in love with a 20-something-year-old man and she's 13, we don't want her deciding her future with this guy because it is illegal and she cannot consent. But these fellas want children to be able to consent to surgeries, medications, puberty blockers, and so on. They want the parents to listen to the child and have the child take the reins and the parents follow along in support. This guy never went through any of this stuff, so he has no experience with it, so he's speaking on behalf of his activism and not on behalf of the truth. There's no truth here with this guy. It's all ideology. It's all predatory. When you're an adult and you say that children can consent, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what it is. Children can consent. You're opening up a box a Pandora's box of children consenting to a lot of different things. We made laws in this country that children cannot consent, and that the parents are the ones who take responsibility and make decisions on behalf of the child. When you have grown men, especially grown men who do not have children, who are dressing up like women and mentally manipulating and bullying people into believing what they believe, when you have these kind of guys speaking to children about how they can choose their own gender and all this stuff, they might as well be talking to them about the Scientology, FLDS Church, Heaven's Gate, any of these cults. It's based on an ideology. It's not based on fact. If you wouldn't want a born-again Christian to be talking to your children about Jesus and being saved and all this stuff, then why would you want this guy talking to children about choosing your own gender, being who you want to be, taking hormones, getting your cake pops cut off, getting your boobs cut off and all this stuff? Why are we listening? What's wrong with the parents who are listening to this? Because I don't blame it on the children. The children have no idea. They're taking cues from the adults in the room, and the adults in the room are messed up. They believe in some weird shit that is only preying on kids. The young, the naive. They believe that these guys know what they're talking about, but they don't. Guys like this, they only have one motivation, and it's them. What can they get? How can they progress? How can they trigger? How can they move forward? How could they influence? When will enough be enough for people? When will we finally say, you know what? F you. You're preying on kids. You're manipulating women. You're preying on women. You're invading. You're acting like a man. The only thing that makes this guy not a threat to Democrats and liberals is the fact that he grew his hair out, put on some makeup, very terribly, by the way, and is dressing up as a woman. I don't think I'll ever understand. I used to be a liberal. I used to be a Democrat, voted Democrat, had a lot of liberal views, still do with a lot of things. But this has moved me so far away from them. Well, technically, they moved far away from me, but so far that I voted for Trump. I voted across the board Republican because this stuff, it does no good for the country. It only makes people more perverted. The things that have come out of this, just look at a pride parade. Look at the LGBTQ. Look at any organization that pushes the gay trans narrative. And you're going to see some shit. I think we've all seen some shit. We've seen the disgusting things at pride parades that have started popping up that were never there before, but started gradually rearing its head into pride parades, commercials, school speaking, like all of this stuff. You're putting adult conversations to children when they shouldn't even be having this thought in their head. Like, have you seen the education system nowadays with kids? You see how well they're doing in school? They're doing shit in school. And I do blame part of that on the fact that gender ideology has just completely coursed through the veins of the education system. It is embedded. And children, instead of learning math, are learning different genders. Instead of learning what they like and what they're passionate about, they're learning about what gender am I and what clothes am I going to wear and do I want to get the surgery? It's all twisted. And Buffalo Lil here is a prime example of the men that we need to start shutting down from speaking to children because it's predatory. Anyway, like and subscribe to this video. Join our memberships. Comment below. Have a good one.
To your heart, I'll tell